Okay, Tony, welcome to the
Okay.
Siobhan Lou Show. Guys, I'm laughing because I think this is the third time I've hit record. We've been having Wi-Fi issues, but we'll roll with it. So, Tony, I was saying as we were starting for the third time, I met you on the cacao immersion course. Is that correct?
This is correct. Yeah. What a wonderful journey that was.
Yeah.
It was great to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, you too. And we really kind of like, the things you were saying on the course, I'm like, oh, I totally resonate. I totally resonate with that. And then a while after that, I shared about like human design and how I went down a rabbit hole. And then you messaged me and you're like, I'm a generator too. I was like, no wonder, like the things you were saying that were really resonating. Because, we don't know much about human design. Like neither of us have kind of looked into it, but we just both know that we're generators and the things, we should be doing things in life that really kind of light us up. So I think that's how we kind of connected a little bit through the being generators.
Totally. Yeah. It's new to me, but yeah, that you saying things that light us up, and that makes complete sense because my life is literally just whatever I feel good doing is what I do. And
Yeah.
and that's what my life has been for a long time. And I've kind of avoided that, that corporate world. Started off in it for a little while, doing some business, graduated degree. And then I started working in like home, like loans and real estate.
Oh, really?
And it's kind of like, it's funny because I'm kind of like circling around now that I'm like more in tune with myself, and I'm like circling around into like, okay, now I'm actually taking a real estate test next week to out here.
Oh, wow.
In the US, but anyhow, it's just something to have because I feel like it could be good for people, for me to connect with people.
Yeah, 100%.
And bring that world, bring that business world into more of cacao and spirit and music and drumming and like all this stuff. Like, yeah. So I've gone on a journey the past 3 years. So, but yeah, speaking of generators, it just makes, like I said, it just makes sense that I would be a generator because I literally just don't stop all day. My energy kind of just goes.
Yeah, I'm the same. And then I think cacao really made me just like, it really exaggerated that. Like it just kept me going even more because, it's so like heart opening and you're really open to stuff that I feel that you love even more and love doing. And it's really funny because my partner Tom always says there's never like a gray area with you. You're either a yes or a no. And I'm like, yeah, if it's not like a fuck yes, it's an absolute no. Like I'm doing it because it has to be like, and then looking into being a generator, it has to be like that full body yes. And things is like, what's the next thing we can do that's really exciting rather than like, oh, do I want to kind of like, if you hesitate, it's like, it's a no.
Yeah, totally. And I battle with that too, because I mean, I have a little bit of I got into, I like to say that I know a little about a lot of things. I like dabble in a lot of things.
Yes,
So, but astrology,
I love that.
Yeah. And I'm working on focusing my energy more towards healing and cacao work and even breath work and stuff like that. Like I love it. I'm just like obsessed with yoga, meditation, anything like spiritual and like healing because just getting to know myself but I was saying the planet. So I was saying like being like, I was just, astrology is another thing that I've been kind of dabbling in, but like, we were saying like we're either a fuck yes or a fuck no, right? Where I am like, I know deep down when it's a fuck yes, but at the same time, I'm like, but what if? Like, what if? Like I did do that, or I did go there. Who would I meet? What experience would I have that could be different than it's like? And I also have a little bit of that FOMO, of like, when I'm like, okay, I listen to my heart, listen to myself. I really just want to like, I'm kind of an introverted extrovert. Like I like to go out and like, I love talking to people. I love meeting people, but I also love my own space. But yeah,
there's a middle one. There is something, is it not called like an ambivert or something? There's a one where you're both, because I'm both too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a name. There is a name for it. I need to find it. I need to like check it out.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, So yeah, I love that. I need to get more in tune with just like a hard fuck yes.
Yeah.
Or no, just like yes or no, because sometimes I'm in the middle, and then even affects my relationship, which I'm working on. Like, okay, I got to be more assertive than some, like, as a man, because I mean, I'm just blabbering now, but like as a guy, like I'm also in tune. Like I was raised by women, like primarily raised by women. I have three aunts, my mom and my grandma, and they were all like single growing up. So it was like, and I am, yes, and it was just a good time to, like, I guess I got to know women's emotions and women's feelings. So I have this like sensitive side towards women and towards females, and that's why I come off, I guess, as a little, sometimes, as more of a feminine guy. But then I also have this strong masculine, and like my Peruvian background of just like shamanism, or but yeah, it's just wild to have. It's good to have that balance, and I'm working with that now, and that's why I'm really using cacao, and I have some here right now.
I've just had mine. I was like, should I take it on the call? But at the end of it, I'm like slurping, and I'm like, no, because like I savor every little particle of it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna drink it before the call.
Totally. I feel you on that. Yeah, I have some here. I mean, and I also have some tea, some Tulsi tea. I'm a big herb guy. Like, I love teas. But yeah, but I probably won't slurp the cacao, because it'll probably, like you said, I'll be slurping, but I had to drink a lot of it already before the call.
Yeah, I'd go for it. I don't care. But anyway, let's dive into cacao, because it's one of like both of our passions. So how did you discover it? Like, how did it kind of, she kind of called, like, they're little hints. So I'd love to know how you kind of got the little hints that came into your life for cacao.
Yeah. Well, I'll start off like my journey that sent me to Guatemala, and that's where I found cacao. And I am part Guatemalan. I have a grandmother, so I'm a quarter Guatemalan. And then so I went to Guatemala in 2017 after, like, I had my other grandmother had passed away, and then I had another sudden death in the family. A cousin of mine suddenly died, and he, at a young age, and it just like really hit me. And I was like, I gotta like leave. I was living in Los Angeles. I was actually doing acting and like theater and just video making, filmmaking, and working on sets and stuff like that. So I left LA. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, this is not what I want to be doing. This, like, deep down, like, I just had these, this experience with like death, and I was like, whoa, I never felt that before. So I ended up moving back to San Francisco, where I'm from, and then I just found a yoga training. I was looking to do a yoga training. I had been not teaching yoga, but I had been practicing yoga for a long time before. I went like 10 years, just like once a week at a studio. And I had an experience, but I had no depth to my yoga. It was just like physical. Like, I love the physical. My back feels good now. I'm strong, it's like limber. And so then I went to Guatemala because I found a yoga teacher training that was in Guatemala, and I happen to have family there too. So I was like, perfect. I never been there. And so I went out to the Lake Atilan, which is like where the Keats cacao comes from. And
wow.
Yeah. Have you been there?
No, well, we were meant to go in March next month, but because of COVID, we can't go.
I was supposed to be there right now too.
Oh, no way. Anyway,
that's another story. It was a lot of craziness. I actually missed my flight. It was an early flight, and I literally got to the gate and they shut the door, and then we took it as a sign. We kind of we booked another flight 2 days later, and we stayed in a hotel for 2 nights. And then in that time, we're like, maybe we're meant to stay, it's COVID and all this stuff. And so we ended up staying, and now we're just like, we see people there and we're like, oh gosh, what are we doing? But I can imagine coming from further away. Yeah, it's got to be pretty difficult.
Yeah. But so anyway, we've not been, but it is on the list when this whole thing kind of chills out. So yeah.
It's a life changer for sure. So yeah, I got to the yoga training, and it was a Hatha Yoga and Bhakti. So it was very spiritual, and like learning about Hinduism and learning about the deities, and also meditation and chanting and Hatha Yoga. So I got like this full on experience, and it was 5 weeks, and it was vegan, all vegan. no coffee, no smoking, no alcohol, no nothing. I was just like clean, strong, and like living life. And then like a few days, maybe about a week after I got there, I met one of the karma yogis there that was working and cooking and stuff like that and doing gardening. And he would wake up early and he would drink this cacao. And I was like, what is that? What are you waking up like at 5 a.m. to go make?
Yeah.
And he was from like Sweden or somewhere out. And he was a cool guy and very high vibe. And he's like, yeah, I drink this cacao every morning. He's like, if you want to have some with me, come out and wake up with me at 5:30 and go down before we start meditation. And meditation starts at 7. So it's like 5:30, come out, meet me. I'll make you some. You could try it. So I went out, made it, tried it. And then from that day, I was just like, every day I was there, I was getting up early and I was making that cacao because you know how it is and how powerful it is. And it happened to be Keith's cacao. Luckily, that was my first.
Oh, how good.
Yeah, I have like a bunch of bars just like laying around my house.
I need to order some actually. So it's good that you brought that up because I'm like, okay, reminder, I need to order more blocks. I just like go through them, because if we have it every morning, they're just incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it started there. And then like I started like really enjoying the flavor, of course. And then, who doesn't love chocolate? And then just the energy that it gave me and gives you, it's like, it gives you an energy. And then I started to realize like what it physically does to your body. And I'm like, okay, it literally like expands your heart and like gets blood flowing and connecting. And then it's crazy. I had my most incredible like meditation experience, like transcendent, lost myself. And I feel, and I know that, well, being clean, of course, and strong and doing yoga, but I know the cacao definitely has something to do with that. And it just makes you feel more in tune with truth of like what I am and who I am and what I honor and what I believe in. And it just helps me to expand on that and like not divert into what my mind may be thinking, but as opposed to what my heart is feeling. So, and that's just how I found it. And then from that day, like I didn't want to be without it. Like I moved to Hawaii for 1.5 years and I made sure I had some when I went. And then I just went without it for a little while. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to become a practitioner. That way I can just get it in lots of mountains, share it with people, share it with family. And like, I've literally change people's lives now. Like just family. My mom loves it. Like Same. She makes it. Yeah.
My mom just sent me a photo this morning actually. And it was of like her and her cat, and her cat was just watching her make the cacao. And it's just like, my mom is so not into like anything spiritual, like not into meditate, just nothing. We're just like, yeah, whatever. And then she asked me cause I just wait for people to ask me cause I'm not going to like force them as much as I want to. Cause I'm like, everyone needs to try this. And she's like, oh, can you make me some of that chocolate stuff? I'm like, okay. And I was like, so excited, but like trying to be calm. And I made her a cup and she like immediately she's like, do you have a spare block? And I gave it to her. And ever since then, she now has cacao every morning. She sometimes has a little bit at night before she goes to bed. And she just loves it.
Wow.
And just loves like the feeling of it. She probably, as much as I try and explain what's going on, I'm just like, well, for her, it's just nice to sit in the feeling of feeling really good. And that's all she needs from it. That's her experience. Whereas, I love how you said that guy got up before meditation and made it at like 5:30 in the morning. Cause I pair mine with my meditation every morning as well. So, I have a ritual with my cacao, I set my intention. And then as soon as I'm kind of finished, I sit in like a really long meditation, and the meditation is so different compared to when I don't have cacao and when I do have it. Like it's really visual. It's so like I just drop in so deep. I feel like it's just this weird outer body experience. It's just so incredible. And you can't explain it to people unless they have it and they're in that. This is why I love these conversations, because we can like chat about how deep or how different, the meditation goes, or how different the body feels and the heart opening experiences with it, which is so similar to breath work. It's like trying to explain breath work or even meditation to someone that doesn't do it. It's like, you can't explain it unless you get in there, you do it, you feel it, you see the differences, and you carry that on, throughout your day. But when I first had cacao, you said about the full energy. And when I did the show with Rick as well, he's like, yeah, it just comes through you like a fire hose. And I thought that was like the perfect explanation of cacao, because it just all day I was like, whoosh, and the creativity and being in touch with my intuition. Yeah, it was incredible.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I like that analogy, the fire hose. Yeah, because it really does. It just like, it's not like coffee where you're, you get like, and you're like, okay, after an hour or two, you're like, I need more.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, it's just in your body,
Yeah, it's so true.
But it's flowing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's true. And I used to be like such a coffee snob, like I love my coffee. I love to have it like a certain way. I actually loved making it. And it's funny because I sat with my coffee the same way as I sit with my cacao. Like I actually made it like a full on, like intention. And I loved making it slow and like exactly the same way pretty much. But the difference is like you kind of have the coffee first thing in the morning. And like you said, it's like that nervous system hit. So it'll kind of give you like a really good, like up and about feeling for a couple of hours. And then immediately you're like, oh, I need a nap or I need another one. Whereas cacao, I'm still like on, but in a really loving way at like 9 p.m. I'm like, I could create something right now. Or, I'm really open to talking about like deep and meaningful things. Whereas with coffee, it was like, I am so ready to go to bed and get excited about waking up, about having my coffee in the morning. It's just a very, very different feeling. Yeah.
Do you still drink coffee?
No, like I've had one like once in a blue moon. So if, we're out somewhere and it's a really hot day, I'll have decaf, like iced coffee, and that's it. But it's just even now, like the thought of having it, I'm like, yeah, I get excited and I really want to have it. But when I actually taste it and drink it, I'm like, ugh, like I regret it immediately. That's the feeling. So it's the initial, like I get excited and I want it, and then I have it and I'm like, yeah, nah. It just doesn't, I don't want it. Yeah. What about you?
I do. I mean, right now I'm doing no coffee, but like me and my partner, we like to make a little espresso. They just got like an espresso machine. So we'll make little like single espresso and kind of sip that in the morning sometimes, but it's not the same as like cacao, or we just drink the espresso. I'm like, ooh, what is this? I feel it and I feel wired. But it's just not the same. You don't get that same feeling. And so I drink much more cacao than I do coffee for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did you find cacao, by the way?
So actually on my breathwork course. So I was like, I feel like I was on my breathwork course to discover cacao as well. So I went there and all I heard, and I actually talked about this with Cassidy on my show because she was like, what do you mean? But all I heard while I was there was everyone talking about cacao and breathwork. And I genuinely felt left out. I'm like, why is everyone talking about this cacao plant? Like what are they talking about? What's going on? And I feel like that was like my first little nudge towards it. I was like, okay, I'll just like, whatever, they're all talking about it. It's probably not available in Australia. So I'm just going to, leave it. Anyway, I got back from my breathwork course and Cassidy was messaging me and she's like, this is cacao. I really think you would love it. I feel like you would resonate. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I'll look into it a little bit. And I kind of did. And then she sent me another email. She's like, you need to order a block of cacao. I'm like, okay. And I just did it. Like I didn't question it. I felt really cold to it. And then ordered the first block. And the first session I did was like a ceremonial dose. So myself and Tom did it together. And then I sat in meditation I meditate every day, but this time it was with a ceremonial dose of cacao. Put my headphones on, sat down. Within maybe 2 minutes, just floods of tears. And I was like, what is going on? Like I'm sitting in my normal meditation where I never cry. Like I feel emotions, but I never like sob. And I sobbed and sobbed for about 20 minutes in meditation. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? And then I started using it daily and just noticing and listening and seeing what was happening. And then obviously I was like, I want to share this with like everyone. And it was similar to the feelings I got for breath work. I was like, why does no one know about this? Like, why have I never heard about Keith's cacao in Australia? Why have I never heard about, breath work in Australia? so when I did the cacao, you know, I was like, I want to share this with everyone. Like everyone needs to feel these amazing feelings and how it's so different because coffee is such a huge culture in Australia. I was like, they need to experience this in something different. So it's after a couple of weeks, I just did the practitioner course and then just started sharing it with other people. And everyone that I've shared it with gets exactly the same feeling as me. You know, they just get that real heart opening, like full energy all day and just feeling really lovely. You know, so that was how I got introduced to it. So I need to thank Cassidy for pushing me, giving me those huge nudges into doing it. But yeah, my breathwork course, it was crazy. People just kept talking about, I mean, that's all I heard. Whereas Cassidy on the course didn't hear anyone talking about it, like not one person. But all I heard was cacao and breathwork. Yeah, so that was really crazy. Yeah,
wow.
I know.
I'm saying you need it. You need some.
Exactly. Yeah. So I got it and that was it. Cool. Yeah. And have you done any other plant medicines or just cacao?
Cacao and no, I haven't done like mushroom, like psilocybin and marijuana. That's pretty much it. I've never done like ayahuasca or I did try the DMT plant or whatever.
How did you go with that?
Transcendent thing. Wow, I've never talked about this before, but you asked me and I'm just gonna go. But it was interesting. I didn't do it with a shaman. It was just like a friend who had it and was like, hey, like try it. I think you like it. But it was definitely very vivid, like I just laid back and kept my eyes closed and a lot of colors and sacred geometry. And it was like, whoa, I got nervous for a moment. And then I like opened my eyes and then I was like, try to go like close my eyes and go back. Cause I was like, okay, am I supposed to keep going? Am I supposed to like go deeper in this or should I open my eyes? And I got nervous. So I opened my eyes. And then I tried to close my eyes and go back and I just couldn't get back to where I was. So I kind of like came out and then couldn't get back, but it was still, the effects were still lingering that day. But yeah, it was very, very powerful. And like in the time I got a lot of messages and a lot of like downloads and like, it probably took me further into my journey that I'm doing now, I'm sure in some way. But yeah, that was a great experience. I look forward to eventually trying ayahuasca at some point. And I think I'm definitely more ready now than I've ever been, like for sure.
Yeah, but I'm the same. Like that's another plant. Like I heard about the kind of ayahuasca as well when I did my breathwork course, but majority of people were saying they went deeper in breathwork than they did with ayahuasca. But I always hear about it and it's a journey I would love to go on. But it's funny you're talking about the DMT, because when you do breath work, there is a small amount of DMT release. So when you're saying about the visions and the colors and, the realizations, like just really deep things coming through, that's exactly what they experience in breath work. So part of me is like, I'd love to try DMT, but at the same time, I'm like, I get all of that through breath work. So it's like, I wonder if it would be similar. I wonder if I'd still drop in. I feel like, and again, similar to breath work, it's like if you open your eyes and come out, it's like trying to get back to the place of like being deep in that state of surrender and just letting go. So
yeah, exactly. That's so cool. I've done some breath, like I've done a little bit of holotropic. Is that what we call holotropic?
Yeah, holotropic.
Breath work. You're like holding I did your YouTube course, breathing
how did you go?
Very beginning. Yeah, good. I did it today. I've been meaning to do it for a while. And it's like I got to do her video just so I like get a feel for your work. And like I loved it. You're such like so knowledgeable and so like great guide, and it was great. I did it today.
Thank you.
And it felt great. And then I like turned on. I remember you recommended the other day I saw on your Instagram stories the emerald like trance. Like
did you do
432 hertz? I did it, and I was just like gone. And then it ended and I just laid there and slept for like 20 more minutes. And
it's so, it's funny because the guy, what's his name? something Howard. Anyway, I left him a note on the insight timer and I was like, hey, I just did this for 20 minutes. But the 20 minutes, like my meditations just go, they feel like a second, like they're so fast. So I messaged him, I was like, hey, do you have like a 40-minute one? And he messaged me back on Instagram saying, hey, I got your message on insight timer. I actually have a 1 hour one of the same, like just an extended version of the Emerald one. So I'll send it to you. But
Yeah.
what
Cool.
I'm thinking is what I want to do is have a ceremonial dose of cacao and do a 60-minute like inward journey to the 60-minute session. And I'm like, yes. So that is my plan. So I think I'm gonna try and do it this weekend and just really drop into it, because that 20-minute, oh, it was so, well, you've done it. It's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful, I don't know where I mean, I have no idea where I went, but I just got loads of like clarity and vision, but it felt like 1 second was like boom, 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 boom. And then I was like, oh, it's done. And I was devastated. I was so upset when I came out of it. I'm like, why is it finished? You know? So it's really good to know that there's now a 60-minute one. So I'm so keen to dive into it.
Yeah. I'd love just to get into that one.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
So with breath work, do you do breath work with cacao like together? Like cacao breath work. So, okay. So I'm thinking like, so if you did breath work before that 60-minute, would that be something you would do? Or like
I could. So the way I kind of do the way I do my meditations in the morning, if I feel like I've got too much clutter in my head or I'm really in my head, the way I kind of do my morning routine in terms of like the whole cacao thing, like I would have my cacao, and if my head was a bit, if I was just in a bit of a funk, I would do 7 minutes of breath work, and then I would straight away go into like a 20-minute meditation. So I'd literally lie down and breathe, and then I would just sit up, chuck my headphones in. And the way I feel how that helps is the breath completely clears out your head. Like it's just zero chatter. You're very like in your body. So going from that into a meditation, I just immediately drop in quicker. But sometimes when I have my cacao, or it's just a morning where I've had like an amazing sleep, there's not much going on in my head in terms of racing thoughts or decisions or things coming up. Sometimes I'll just from the cacao go straight into meditation. So actually every single morning is pretty different for me. So like this weekend, I'm planning on doing like a ceremonial dose and dropping into 60 minutes of this one, and I'll just lie down. So they're all very different the way I do it, but I definitely pairing cacao with, so on a Tuesday, I actually do a class, like someone else holds space for me. So I drink my cacao, just the daily dose, and then I do like a full-on class of breath work. And I always drop in way deeper to like the full 30 minutes of breath, like pretty much nearly every session. There's definitely some tears, there's more emotions. Like I really feel like the cacao brings up more of the emotions that are stored, in my body. Whereas if I do it without the cacao, there's not much of an emotional release. So I definitely feel like I drop into my emotions more with cacao. And the feedback I get from my classes as well, like the guys that come in with cacao and do it and then breathe, they say the same thing. They say it just opens them up more emotionally. So, and they can drop in deeper to the session. So that's definitely the difference. So yeah, come try a class, and definitely I'd highly recommend have your cacao first, and you can have the last sip right up until you breathe. Because some people are like, is it going to make me feel sick or nauseous? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't know where it goes. I have no idea where it goes in the body. Yeah. It does not make you feel like you've even had anything. You're just like bang, straight into the breath. You don't even feel like you've drunk anything. It's pretty fascinating. It's just like it's working with the breath. It's like working with you, working with the breath. There's no like, nausea or anything. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I have to try it. Like, and I do know that like cacao for me, I do it here and there, but I do it usually in the mornings or I call it do it, but drink it, consume it, love it in the mornings. But I feel like the best is like first thing in the morning for sure. Right into meditation. Yeah. And then just clears everything for the day, clear mind. And then I'd have what I have to do, and I don't have to think about anything, or just, it just clears things for the day, for the morning, and staying on that path of like my truth pretty much.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. And what sort of meditations do you do? Are they different or?
Well, lately I've been doing like pranayama. Like first thing I'll do like alternate nostril breathing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll do like alternate nostril breathing. Then I'll go into like breathing, like inhale for 6 breaths, hold for 6, exhale for 6, then hold that exhale for 6, then inhale. So I'll do that and I'll raise up to like 10 or 12 and I'll kind of like just get
Wow.
into that, just to start off my day, at least
Yeah.
lately. Um, and then I'll sit after that for like not that long, like 5 minutes. And then I might do chanting, like just like a little mantra,
Cool.
which is really good for me, like just for grounding,
Yeah.
and just like getting in tune with myself, my heart. And I really feel like that was a game changer when I learned like chanting and mantra. And I just have my little mala, and I kind of just go. Sometimes I'll do like
Is that the
50.
beads?
Yeah, yeah.
So these keep coming into my awareness recently. Can you explain like a
Uh,
little? Yeah, can you explain a little bit more about it? It actually came up as a in a conversation last night at a friend's house, and now you're talking
yeah,
about it today, and I keep hearing
yeah.
it. So yeah, can you like explain a little bit about it, especially for people listening?
So
Because
they're
I
like
think it's yeah,
the little
cool.
This one's from this one is from India, and like that's where they traditionally come from, is India. And these
Yeah,
are they're like little pieces of, so there's 108 of them, and
yeah.
108 is like a very, it's like a very auspicious, powerful number. Like it's a full
Okay,
complete cycle
right.
um of something. I'm not really sure that those details,
Yeah.
but the mala is basically, these are, I think they're called like raksha. I was just talking to my partner, my girlfriend, about it,
Mm.
and because she wants to get a new one. That's a little like, she has one, but it's like all stone, so it's very heavy. Whereas
Yeah.
this is more traditional one, and I'm missing my little garland on the edge because I've been using it so much, it just kind of fell off. But I got
Mhm.
this at the end of my yoga training. My teachers for my yoga training are they traveled in India a lot, and that's where they learned yoga and stuff.
Cool.
So at the end of the training, they gave us all one of these, and these are
Wow.
from Amma. Amma is Amma, one of the, they say she's one of the last, like one of the biggest like healers and gurus in India, like right
Wow.
now, that's still alive. And I've had she travels the world and stuff. But anyway, so these are they're like pieces of a tree in India. I don't know the details, but it's called like a raksha bead or something. And they're
Okay.
supposed to be very powerful, and they're the tears of Shiva. So Shiva,
Wow.
I'm a big, like, Shiva's my dog, my man. At least ever since my yoga training, I learned about Shiva, and he's a Hindu god, and he's all about just transcendence and just like complete blissful in his own space. He's one of the
Mhm.
creators of like in Hinduism, it's like one of the creators is Vishnu, Brahman, and Shiva.
Mhm.
And but Shiva is like ultimate peace and ultimate like bliss. And so these are the tears of Shiva, apparently. That's what they
Wow.
are, like traditionally, like in
Mhm.
India. So that's what these are. And then yeah, you just say your mantra or whatever it may be. Like if I'm grounding, and simple grounding, like Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha is like a simple grounding. And that's Ganesh. It's a chant towards Ganesh, which is the root chakra. It's like
Mhm.
grounding. You're
Yeah.
putting energy to your pelvic floor, and
Yeah.
like Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. It's very very earthy. So that's one I do once in a while, but I like to, lately I've been doing a more of a heart centered one, and that one's a bit longer. So I
Okay.
won't do a full 108. I'll just do like a half of it, or like 27, which is like a quarter of it. So it's just something just to get to the vibration. So that's something that I've realized is very important for me. And just for a lot of people, obviously, like in India,
Mhm.
they do it, like they stand by it. But the vibration that you get in your body by, especially first thing in the morning, for me, it's just like Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, or whatever the may be, over and over and over, and having that commitment and, I guess, strictness. I mean, what's that word? But like that commitment to doing it. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, your head is still going places, but by the end, like you're like in your own space. And then after that, like you sit, and all that vibration that's been collecting that whole time is like sitting with you and your body. And it's kind of like, I would assume almost like breath work, because you are breathing through it, and you're also speaking through it, and you have a rhythm. And like, you can even use a metronome to be like tick tock, to like go with the rhythm for the whole time. And I do that when I do a certain chant. But yeah, it's just been really beneficial for me for just getting my voice, letting my voice open up, and also like tapping into the vibrations of my body, and like tuning into the heart. And like, the more I vibrate, the more radiant and more energy is going outward into the world and out into like my relationship. Like I notice when I do that in the morning, like my relationship is much more like, I'm much more peaceful, more calm. I used to be very, if we talk on Ayurvedic terms, like a pitta, which is like fire, like I'm very like, like someone cut me off. Oh, how dare you? And like, now I just like, after my yoga training, after cacao, and after meditation, all this, like, I'm just so much more peaceful. Where I'm just like, I just chill, I just drive, I cruise. Also, I've gotten older, but at the same time, like, to see people on the road sometimes, like the other day, I was just cruising, and someone behind me just honked on their horn, like came up beside me, and then they turned left. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's the rush, man? Like, I was going probably over the speed limit too. And it's like, anyway, but I used to be very that way, where I was kind of like, I wouldn't say an angry person, but
fiery.
I thought fired. And snappy. And like, so like stuff like this just really helps to ground me and keep me calm, and keep me feeling my heart vibration just with cacao is amazing. So yeah. So perhaps that's meant for you to get one.
Yeah, I really want to. So and this is the other thing I'm all about, is like getting the right ones, which I probably need to let go of. But like, if I was wanting to try and find some, where would I get some that have like, the energy, the vibration, like you're holding them, you're like, I feel something here.
Well, they're only $22 on, so if you go to, Ram Dass?
Yes.
Yeah. So his website, I think it's
okay, cool.
BeHereNow.org or something.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Whatever his website is, you go to his shop, and he has this exact mala pretty much for $22. And I would say get it from there. And like, they have cool ones that are sold out right now. I was trying to get my partner one with like made of sandalwood and like stones mix, and they're like pink, there's yellow one, there's like different colors, and they have the traditional one. This is just like a plain traditional one. And you just go on his website and get one. And and I would think that they have the energy. Of course, you want to get it comes from India, so but I would say do that. And and also when you're doing your mantra, whatever your mantra may be,
so how do you do it? Do you hold the bead, like the stone, the bead, you hold it and then you move on to the next one?
Yeah. So you don't put it on your pointer finger. So your pointer finger is like your ego. So you want to keep it away. You don't even want to touch it with your ego finger. So you keep it hanging like this, and then you move it, start just like, this is the main bead, but usually it has a little ribbon thing on it, which is not on it because it fell off. And then you just move it one by one, but you move it away from you. So like after you say one mantra, move on to the next, and you just keep going. And eventually, and if you want to do half, you just pull it half of it, and then you do the same thing, but you just start there. That way, when you get to the end, you can feel it. Your eyes are closed. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just pull it away from you, and then you go through, and then every time you say the mantra, it's putting energy into these beads. So these beads, supposedly, they carry energy. And so, yeah, you can treat it like however you can wear it. A lot of people wear them, on their wrist or like around their neck. And
is that just for the energetic sake, because they're kind of putting the energy in there? So wearing it is like holding it with the body?
I would assume, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't ever wear mine out. It just sits on my altar here and just kind of chills.
I love it. I'm going to
Yeah.
as soon as I'm finished my work today, I'm going to literally order some. And for those listening, Tony had it sitting on his middle finger. You might need to jump on YouTube when this is out and have a quick look at how he does it. Because I also think it's really cool for people to use that as a meditation. This is why breathwork's so amazing as a meditation, because you're following the breath. And that's why it's so successful, because you have to follow something which gives the brain something to do. Whereas people just sitting doing, watching their thoughts or their breath or sitting, they find that really hard. So I feel like with that and saying a mantra and doing it with each one, you're actually giving the brain something to focus on 108 times. So how long would that, obviously depending on the mantra, how long would that meditation be?
If I just did that Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, that's a pretty short one.
Yeah.
That would probably take 20, 25 minutes maybe.
Yeah. See, that's so perfect for people to get. So this could be another cool, meditation to do, but I would definitely love to try it, and like I said, I love mixing my meditations up every single morning. So adding that into my weekly thing could be something cool to do. I've heard of friends that do it and they do a manifestation. So anything they want to manifest, they say it 108 times and they say that it's so powerful, apparently.
Wow. Okay. Now I got to try that.
Do it. Write it down now what you're going to manifest, then let me know.
But yeah, I would say for that beads and the mala, I would say that it's hard. I mean, for me, I would have never known unless I experienced someone doing it who's done it and doing it with me. So something that I found, finding a person that is really into bhakti or chanting, just find them and sit with them and then have them sit with you. That instead of I guess you can look on YouTube and whatever, but you kind of want to feel it and experience it for yourself. And if they have a harmonium also, that's a big plus too, because a harmonium is very vibrational and very powerful.
Cool. Yeah. I'm going to research that in Melbourne now. I'm excited. This is why I love these conversations, because, you're always learning something new or finding something different to kind of tune into. So it definitely came into my awareness for some reason. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Look up, I look up Kirtan or Bhakti, Kirtan Melbourne or Bhakti Melbourne. I'm sure it'll pop up and you'll meet a whole nother crew of people.
I know, I love it.
And they're such loving people. It's amazing.
Oh, so good. So good. Cool. So if people want to reach out or get in touch with you, Tony, do you have any offerings at the moment or anything you're sharing that you'd want to share with the listeners?
Not right now. I'm on social media. My name is Tony Calle. Last name is street in Spanish, Calle, Calle. You can go there on Instagram, or the plan is to be starting a YouTube channel very soon. So, and eventually a podcast. Definitely would like to start a podcast and keep this energy flowing. Yeah. I think it's important, especially times right now, for people to be hearing, people who are looking for guidance and to be that way. So that find me on Instagram, Tony Calle. Funny because I changed my Instagram. I had an oracle reading the other day from a guy I'd never met before, but Cassidy recommended him, Owen. Okay. His name is Oracle Owen on Instagram. And then, so I did this reading with him and he's like, I just imagine your social media being just all earth and all ground. Cause I guess I'm grounded apparently. But he's like, I just imagine earth. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I should change my Instagram to Tony Grounds or Tony's Ground. And I did. I was Tony's Ground for about a week and a half. And then I just changed it today. I was like, I'm going to go back to my name. It's just Tony Calle, just simple. Yeah. So that's how you find me. But as far as offerings right now, no, nothing really, but you can go keep track on Instagram. I'm sure I'll be popping up with some things. Yeah, especially your podcast. Yeah. That'd be such a cool listen to find out, all the things. And we've already learned some new stuff today. So I'd love to hear more of these conversations and, your connections as well, which would be pretty cool. So
Cool. Well, thank you
Exactly.
so much for your time, and with the time difference and everything, it's been an amazing conversation, and I'm so excited to share it with everyone, and get these beads, and share with everyone how I go with it. I'm really excited to add this into my my weekly meditation. So thank you so much, Tony, and hopefully we can do a round 2 soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much as well. I really love what you're doing. Keep on doing it.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you.
All right. Bye.